How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the Midwest Outdoor Experience podcast. We are back with another fun month of conversation. Let's first get in with Austin. How you doing?
I am doing well. Been very busy. Uh,
Yeah.
I've been able to fish a little bit, which is good.
Mm-hmm.
Had some fun doing that. They were still biting pretty decent.
Yeah.
Um, and overall, doing good.
Has it slowed down a little bit from the last month, from the last time we talked overall, or has it been about the same, or
Um,
what have you been noticing?
I didn't catch this last time I went. I didn't catch as many fish
Yeah.
as the previous, partially because of the way I fished. I think I still could have caught a lot,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, they definitely seem like they moved off of the points a little.
Gotcha.
I was getting hit by current, and I think that did slow them down about,
Hmm.
at least where I was fishing.
And I'm sure we'll get more into that. I, unfortunately, have not been doing too much fishing. My truck's in the body shop. I had a deer run into me last October, and they've had it since the week before the 4th of July, and it's not supposed to be done till the end of July. So I'm kind of just in limbo over here doing anything but fishing. Kind of
Yeah.
need to bum a truck.
Yeah,
Somebody
there you go.
will.
You can rent mine.
And of course, you'd make me rent yours. I'll find another person. Anyway, real quickly, if you haven't heard, all of our winter series dates for 2025, 2026 have been released. And I just want to kind of go over those. If you're looking to hop into a fun winter series, this will be our third. Is there a third winter?
Yeah.
That we're getting into. And our first tournament's kicking off December 12th. And we're going to have, I should mention, we have 5 total this year. And you'll basically fish for points, but there's individual prizes and a bunch of different ways to win. But December 12th is the first. December 27th will be the second. So,
Correction on your first date.
oh, what did I say?
You said the 12th. It's the 6th.
I'm sorry. I read 12/6, and okay, thank you.
Before somebody
December
shows up on the 12th.
December 6th. Leave it to me. See, like I said, I make mistakes. And then December 27th will be our second. January 17th, February 21st, and then the championship fish off / just another regular tournament. But for those who have fished the series, the points will accumulate. The championship will be March the 7th. And we are looking forward to that. We have done a lot of growing. We are still looking for sponsors for the winter series. Again, if you don't know anything about it, all of our sponsorship money, all of it, 100% of it goes right back into our tournament series. We don't take any of it. It goes right back to our anglers. So if you have a business that you're looking to promote, rather it be whatever it is, you can just get in contact with us and we can try to work a deal. We have a couple of different package levels. And if you're not interested in that, we can try to work something else out. Some people have donated baits in the past and just all kinds of different stuff. Some people have given us shirts and hats and all kinds of different things to give out during the tournament. So if you know someone, send them our way. It'll just help the series. So without further ado, I've talked enough. We're going to introduce our guest of the month, Justin Swast with E Factor. And we are excited to be talking with him this month. You want to bring him in, Austin?
I will bring him in.
How's everybody going? How's everything's going on?
Oh, pretty good. How are you, Justin?
Do good.
Good. Jessica's behind me.
Okay.
Perfect.
Hi, Jessica. Well, let's get the conversation started with. I got to know, obviously, kind of starting off with E Factor. What kind of made you want to get into running your own bait business?
So I have been in the industry since I was 16 years old. I was a tackle buyer, starting out real young at Dunn Sporting Goods in Peabody, Missouri.
Nice.
So started there. I started doing small orders and things for the tackle department just at that store. And then when I turned 18, I actually graduated high school early. And there was a large tackle buying show up in St. Charles. They had it there instead of it floats every year. But anyways, my boss at the time, the owner, Steve Dunn, he said, "Hey, I need you to go up there and order everything we need for all 3 stores for the fishing this spring." And they have that show in August. And so I went up there and started writing orders. And the first one, I mean, he said, "Just order what we need." I mean, he didn't even go with me. I thought he was going to go with me, you know. And he said, "Just order what we need." and the first order was, X amount of large dollars, multiple figures. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. So I called him and he's like, no, that sounds about right. Just keep on going. And it started from there. I learned baits. I learned rods, reels, inwards and outwards, backwards and forwards. I knew Zoom numbers instead of colors, memorized in my head. I mean, I just been doing it that long.
Wow.
And then I transitioned from that to being a sales rep selling all of it.
Mm-hmm.
So I work for Gamakatsu, Rapala, Zepco Quantum, a lot of large companies. Typically, actually, right now, 5-6 years ago, I'd be at ICAST right now. And I always helped out with another bait company. Couple of them, it went through a few hands, good friends of mine,
Mm-hmm.
and help them with that. And was one of their larger dealers at the time when I worked at Dunn's and things, and always had my finger on it. And Jessica and I moved down to the lake, and she got a part-time job at the bait shop, and she fell in love with it too, during the summer, when she wasn't teaching. And then this opportunity came up to where we could buy E-Factor, and it actually came across to her first, and she came home, and I mean, she just said, "Hey, do you want to buy E-Factor?" And I was like, "Well, yeah. I mean, I've known Steve for a long time. Knew his baits. Bates had a good reputation. I mean, and we just took it on."
Nice.
Excellent. So, tell us, I guess, a little bit about each of your roles. So, are you more like consulting side, kind of thinking about other business and stuff, and Jessica's takes care of building and getting orders out and all that, or what's your guys' roles?
Yep, that's almost exact, really. Because that was one of the conversations we had, and I was like, if we buy this, it's gonna be more your baby than it can be mine, because my real estate business and my team is flourishing, and that's top priority for me and my
Mhm.
clients. So if I'm helping or building a spinnerbait and the phone rings to go show a property or list one or whatever, I literally drop the bead I'm holding in my finger and I go take care of it, and she picks up. So she does all the day in and day out. She's now full time. This isn't a part-time gig for her anymore. This is her full-time job.
Wow.
So
Yeah, I like it that way too. I like, being able to do as much of it myself as I can. And it is very therapeutic to sit and make your baits while you're listening to music or, I think women are great at this kind of stuff too, because we are very detail oriented. So that kind of helps a lot.
That's awesome.
But yeah, I'm enjoying it quite a bit.
she
Very.
uh, she takes care of most of the orders when they come in. I help. She'll obviously, from my background, I know the whole UPC thing, the barcodes, the
Mm-hmm.
item numbers. I built our order writer, which is a big deal. We have 2,000 SKUs. So I do a lot of the behind the scene things, bait development. Should we mess with this? Should we not? Should we, come out with this or that? And we're gonna, we've brought a lot of things. We've brought more than we can probably realize, to the company already in just the 2 short years that we've had it.
Wow.
Some soft launches and just some additions.
Mhm.
We're not
Mm-hmm.
going absolute crazy with it, but we're going to continue to build things into our brand. Change things, make them better. The quality and the reputation of the spinnerbait was already good, but we've made it better.
Yeah, and you asked about expanding too. We definitely are ready to do that. We've been
Mm-hmm.
just kind of getting our feet wet with the business and making sure we know all the ins and outs and know the flow and feel really comfortable with things. And now we've kind of gotten to a place where now that I'm doing this full time and not having to focus on anything else, I can really give this my full attention. And I'm
Right.
getting really excited of, reaching out to places and trying to get in the new stores. And we had somebody today from like Malta near Italy reach out and wanted to buy some of
Really?
our baits. So it's just cool to see that just that little bit of extra effort that I've been able to put in trying to work social media more and
Mhm.
put things out there might be paying off a little bit.
Yeah,
So it's kind of cool.
absolutely.
When
It's
she told me
amazing.
that guy reached out from there, I was like, "Where in the heck is that at?" Like,
We looked it up on the map. It's in the Mediterranean Sea.
Wow.
You're
Wow.
international now.
Yeah.
That's funny. It's crazy what social media can take your business or just where it takes you. Like a while, it's been years, but I sold an old fish finder and I sold to a guy in Germany, and I was like, "How the heck did you even find this? I'm in Missouri in the United States." And he's like, and sure enough, he did the transaction and he wanted my units. I was like, "Absolutely, your money's as good as anybody else's." So
Yeah, yeah.
off to overseas it went, but.
Mhm.
I got to ask you. So you're trying to. It sounds like you guys are obviously. You said 2 years is how long you've owned eFactor.
Yep.
We're
What?
almost to 3 now, aren't we?
2 years.
Gotcha.
Yep.
That's awesome. What's something you guys are like trying to expand into? Like, are you just trying to keep getting more local shops? Or you said obviously you got international orders now, which is awesome. What's like a right now goal that you guys are like focused on, or if you have any?
So our main goal is great quality and customer service. So we don't want to grow too fast.
Sure.
Mhm.
Um, with my background, I mean, I have the contacts and I have the ability, and the know-how to expand when we're ready.
Mhm.
Um, and that's going to take a lot of inventory, a lot of commitment. So we want to make sure that we're ready for that when that time comes. There's a lot of people that try and do that too fast and it hurts them.
Mhm.
And I've seen that. So we don't want to go down that path. But, the Fitz Fishing
Hmm.
stores, those are the local stores, Tombstone, Bait and Tackle.
Hmm.
Those are who we want to be in, where you and I go and buy our tackle.
Right.
Sure.
Um,
Absolutely.
I
Every time
still
I'm at
think like
Fitz's,
more Midwest growth, but
Yeah.
right.
we have some stores like Pickwick, and we have a few
Okay.
few in
That's
that
great.
area that I've
Yeah.
ordered.
I
So
always
yeah,
see.
we'll
we won't
never
say no.
we'll never forget our roots and where we came from, you know what I mean? And
Right.
we wanna make sure that we test the brand here and take care of everybody here and local and our longest loyal customers and things like that, both consumer direct and dealership.
Right.
That's awesome. Sounds like
I've
you
got
did.
I've got a quite a few E factors, probably from when you guys have owned it and prior. I
Yeah.
always saw them at Fitz's uh,
Awesome.
on the counter, and Bass and Bob would always talk about them too. So
Yes,
from years
Yes.
Bob
ago,
was a great supporter.
yeah,
Yeah,
I would always
yeah,
hear him talk
yeah.
about it, and I think that's how I originally found out about E Factor.
That was his main spinner bait for sure.
Yeah.
Yes. Your guys' spinner baits are unbeatable. It's like when springtime comes, I know what I'm picking up and I know what I'm throwing because
Yeah,
it's different than many other brands, even though it might be a little bit different here or there, but it makes a difference.
it does.
Um, I got to ask you, how often are you trying out and testing new baits?
I wish that I was able to fish more than I do right now. That's kind of changing a little bit.
Hmm.
Obviously, owning E Factor has gotten me out on the water a lot more than it did for multiple years prior to that.
Hmm.
I kind of just started working and chasing the real estate and got out of fishing just a little bit more than I probably should have. So it's got my finger back on the pulse, which is awesome. The cool thing is I live 8/10 of a mile from Shawnee Bend Boat Ramp, literally.
Oh, that's
Um,
perfect.
like I
Beautiful.
can I can stay in the seat of the bass boat hooked up to the trailer and stay in the boat and be in my driveway in a minute and 20 seconds. I've done it on video before, just being goofy.
I'm so
Um,
jealous. I'm so
Well, the other
jealous.
so
thing too is we have a lot of, we live at Lake of the Ozarks, and we have a lot of friends here, and our
Yeah.
friends fish, and we also have some pro staff people that try out products for us too.
Right.
So
Okay.
whether
Yeah.
it's us, them, somebody's trying something out and giving us feedback,
Right.
and
Gotcha. That was
Gotcha.
one of my
yeah,
questions
Pizza
was if you
Village.
guys have people testing baits for you as well, or if you guys try to keep it all in house, or I'm sure it's a
yeah,
lot to do if you're trying to do it by yourself.
little bit of both. We'll give a couple out and say, "Hey, go do this. What do you think?
Hmm.
What changes need to be made?" Much like our shaky head that we just came out with. Um, I wanted that big hook, that big round bend hook. Put them in a couple people's hands before we, really launched them.
Right.
Um, we wanted to make sure that it was hooking fish where it needed to hook them, wasn't getting snagged in every brush pile and every rock that you came across,
Absolutely.
things like that, because
Yep.
that's a big deal.
Hmm.
It's easy to make a mold and throw a hook into something, but you need to make sure that it works.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, to answer your question, we do it ourselves, and we have a lot of people help us. And then living that close to the boat ramp, we custom build spinner baits too. Like, yeah, all of ours are built handmade, one at a time, but we have, a cookie cutter assembly line of.
Hmm.
But if someone wants like a different blade combination or whatever, or one that we've never really lined out on our frame, I'll build it, or I'll build 4 different variations of it spaced differently, and I'll run down to the ramp and I'll throw it until I got it right. So I don't send them something that doesn't run properly just because they wanted it built. So
Nice.
that's
That's
awesome about living
that's
where we live.
service.
Yeah.
That's true custom service. Let's look at some of those baits if you have some in front of you. Would you say your spinner baits are probably your flagship?
It is, yes. Our jigs are really starting to pop off and gain popularity, and then same with our shaky heads.
Yeah.
Um, this is a 3/8 model here,
Okay.
top
Perfect.
quality components. We do not tie, we do not hand tie our skirts. Some people want a hand tied skirt, but me being a fisherman back in the day, when I would have a hand tied skirt, a lot of times I didn't want it. The other day, Andy Newcomb and I were up the river fishing, and he was like, "Hey man, do you have this color spinnerbait?" And I was like, "Not in that combination," but I was able to literally pull some skirts off of one, throw it on another, swap the blades out, and bam, I had it.
Hmm.
If the skirt material was tied, I wouldn't have been able to do that. And I ran into that as a co-angler, fishing on the competitive side of things, and on the boater side of things back in the day. And I personally like a banded skirt. I've never had a problem with a banded skirt. Some folks don't like them because they eventually rot and break,
Hmm.
Hmm.
but I've never had a spinner bait last long enough because of fish catches that was a problem. And it's a 50 cent slide a new one on and you're ready to go. So
Away you go. Yeah.
we banned our skirts. We have these diamond blades. That is a flagship of ours. You don't see that. We also build them with a spring, and they're spaced a certain way, and the blade sizes are a certain way. That's what makes an E-Factor spinnerbait different than others.
Hmm.
It's got a long shank hook on it. I'll try to hide the head on this, but like this is an old school spinnerbait.
Hmm.
You see where that hook is?
Yep.
Yes.
See where the blade is?
Yep.
Very short.
Okay. When fish are biting a spinnerbait, they're not biting this. They're biting at the blades, and when their mouth comes down, they're gonna miss that hook a lot of times. So when I threw the spinnerbait all the time back in the day, I'd 90% of the time had a trailer hook, but then I can't throw it around cover very easily, right?
Right.
On our spinnerbait, spacing and the size of everything is proper. You can see where that hook is, and the blade.
Yes.
The blade is 3/4 of the way over that hook.
Hmm.
When they come down and bite on that blade, they're going to get that hook. So most of the time on ours, I don't throw a trailer hook. You still can,
Hmm.
but I don't, especially with as much cover and stuff that we fish the
No
spinner
way.
baits around and dragging them on the bottom and stuff. The hookup ratio is phenomenal for that.
Right.
That's nice. And
Do
like you said,
you pair your spinner baits with trailers a lot, or do you throw them naked? Or
Yes, so I typically always throw a trailer. I teamed up with Bait Cave Customs and we came out with the Sabertail. Um, I designed this. I've thrown a spinnerbait forever, been a spinnerbait fan forever. And there were 2 trailers that I always threw. And I was like, man, one people don't even know about. It was literally one I found like 15 packages in a junk bin, I think at Walmart somewhere out of state when we were running a circuit somewhere. I was like, that's an awesome tail, but the body's too big. So I'd take the body and I'd literally whittle it down. Like I'd cut it down and it ended up being this little knobby square that I slid on the hook. And it was tough and it would break. But
Right.
then I really liked the Mr. Twisters
Mhm.
one too, but it was like really fast,
Yeah.
and I like to slow roll a spinnerbait and crawl it. And it was contradictory to what you were doing.
Hmm.
So I whittled and glued and melted this deal together and I gave it to Riley. And I said, we need to make this right here. And we played around with it through, I think, 2 molds, and we hit the nail on the head the second or third go around. And now he's producing them for us. And then he also sells them himself.
That's
Perfect.
awesome. That's awesome.
So that's mainly 90% of the time, that's the trailer that I'm throwing now. And it's very similar to the one that I threw for a really long time that I whittled and messed with myself.
Cool.
And
Yeah.
while we're talking spinner baits a little bit, how do you? I guess let's start with this. What's your favorite time of the year to throw a spinner bait, or
So
two
there's
times of
times
the
of the
year?
year where they're like eating a spinner bait just because it's a spinner bait. That 48 to 54 degree water temperature. That's when they really like key in on a spinner bait, all the way up to 60, I guess. But then once you get up into that 60 degree, they start hitting other things like wiggleworts and whatnot, crankbaits. But other than wind, like you can catch fish on a spinner bait
Hmm.
almost every month of the year with the help of wind. But in December and late March, mid March, late March, early April, those are the key times that always have a spinnerbait tied on the front deck of your boat, regardless if there's wind or not.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
And then of course nighttime. Nighttime spinner baits of anytime it's you're fishing at night, it's hard to beat a spinnerbait up shallow, black blade.
I've always heard. I've never been good at night fishing. I didn't like it because I can't see.
Yeah,
Same.
yeah. I'm not a huge fan of it anymore. I used to do it quite a bit. When I lived over on the east side of Missouri, we used to fish Kincaid at night a lot.
Hmm.
And I mean, just crack them. I mean, but it was pitch black. Like
Wow.
Lake of the Ozarks, there's a whole bunch of light. So I
Sure.
mean, but I mean, over there in Kincaid, there isn't a town anywhere close. Like we
Right.
brought spotlights, headlamps, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah.
And we would throw spinner baits and then big worms.
Nice.
That's. I'm the same way. I'm not a big night fisherman. Probably should. I hate bugs and I'm like Austin. Just can't see. And
Well,
then
you got your graphs on and they're swarming your graph and you got to
yes,
turn your graph all the way down. Oh yeah. No, I
yeah,
get it.
Oh, that's funny.
that is.
Okay, now still talking spinner baits real quick before we move on to your other products. How are you throwing them? Like, let's just say you're fishing in December. What are you looking for to throw a spinnerbait around, and how are you working it?
Um, like I said, very rarely am I like really fishing it when they're super, super active where they're going to be burning it. Um, there's at least at Lake of the Ozarks.
Mm-hmm.
That time of year, normally I'm flipping or pitching or doing something with shade lines or brush.
Mhm.
But I like the slow roll spinnerbait, drag it on the bottom, hop it on the bottom. Um, and then deep fish in the summertime, a lot of times, especially with scoping now, you
Mhm.
can get them to react to a spinnerbait by watching them with a big 1 ounce or 3/4 ounce
Hmm.
over structure. But man, they're just such an all-terrain vehicle. I mean, you can do, man, I've done it. I've done it all with a spinnerbait, really. You can fish them shallow, you can fish them deep, you can fish them all year. Um, when when I'm coming up to a bank and the wind's hitting it just right and it's screaming spit through a spinner bait, um, I'll throw it out there. I'll count it down. I let it hit the bottom a lot of times, and I normally give it 2 pops. That straightens everything out. That's a little trick that I learned. A guy taught me years ago. Like you'd be reeling in your spinner bait, and half the skirt spun around the wire or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
twisted around the wire. If you throw it out there and let it hit the bottom and just jerk it twice, it'll get everything straight and running. So that's one thing I do.
Hmm.
And a lot of times I'll just keep just light bottom contact, or I'll keep it right above it, and then I'll check the bottom a little bit every so often. But now with scoping, I mean, you can watch it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
And everybody's throwing a minnow or something like that. Fortunately, we don't have to do that at Lake of the Ozarks. Like, you can just do it with a spinnerbait,
Yeah.
or other baits. So I mean, the live scope thing, everybody's keying in on the sonar minnows and stuff, but you can key in on a spinnerbait extremely well. I mean, it lights up like
Yeah.
it lights up like a beacon
Mm-hmm.
on forward-facing sonar, whatever brand you've got. But a couple of the fall tournaments that Andy and I fish, we watched a couple of our key fish bite a spinnerbait on live scope.
Yeah. I have a question about, we're talking live scope. How dependent are you on your live scope when you're throwing your spinnerbait? Are you a lot of times like glued to that screen watching that thing anymore nowadays? Or you're like, oh, there's the shade line, or I know there's brush, or I'm flipping these docks. What do you got for that?
Depends on if it's just a transitional bank with just rock
Mhm.
and not a whole lot of structure on it, I'm going to be watching it a lot more than if I'm pitching it to, some type of float or a pylon, up the river on the side of a shallow boat dock or something like
Mhm.
that. If it's not visual from the top, yeah, I'm going to be watching it on the, through the water column with my live scope, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Just curious. I don't know about you, Austin. I have probably just two more questions about the business side of things, real quick, before we get into some more fishing stuff. I don't know
All
what
right,
else
that's
you have.
fine. Yeah, we can go down his bait line after that.
Yeah, and I was just kind of curious. What's one downfall of running a bait company?
Gee,
Yes, you can answer too.
Yeah, I mean, it's very, very time consuming and it takes a long time to put attention and detail into each order and just to have the time to make it all.
Sure.
And with having so many SKUs like we have, it's
Mm-hmm.
very hard to pre-make product. I mean, what we sell is such a huge variety. You would think, white and chartreuse spinnerbait with golden nickel willow blades, that's
Mm-hmm.
going to be make 100 of those and just have them at the ready.
Right.
But you really just never know what people are going to order, and it's so different from month to month, and so it's hard to have things pre-made that you can just pull off the shelf. So definitely time.
Inventory levels.
Yeah.
You got to have a lot of inventory. If you don't have it, you can't sell it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So but I'd say that's a downside to any kind of business where you're
Sure.
in product sales or manufacturing or anything like that. So.
That's a great answer. I like that answer.
Yeah, I
Makes
wouldn't
sense.
have thought that they would have. I mean, it makes sense though. There's so many different varieties. It is hard to.
Yeah.
Well, just the chartreuse and white half-ounce spinnerbait, there's like 14 variations that you can have blade combination.
But people
Right.
will still place an order and say, "Hey, can you do this
Yeah,
blade
so
instead?"
that's another
And
thing. Like our spinnerbait is a cookie cutter built this way.
Mm-hmm.
That's the E-Factor spinnerbait. When you start asking like, oh, can you start making them with a 4.5 on top instead of whatever you've got on top? It's like, yeah, we can make that, no problem. But if we add it to our lineup, literally our lineup just doubled in every single combination. So we just went from having 2,100 SKUs like we do to having 4,200 like that.
Wow.
Just
Yeah.
because just because we changed from a 5 to a 4.5. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
it's one thing I could tell the listeners and folks that want to try our baits, like, we build them the way that they're known for: bigger blades, bigger fish, bigger vibration, more vibration. If you want smaller blades, we can definitely do it, but it's a custom deal. We're not going to come out with a small blade entire lineup because it just get absolutely astronomical on how many SKUs that we would be offering at that point in selection. And we are all about selection. I'm all about
yes, we
selection.
can make
Mhm.
it and we don't mind, but we may not add it as a permanent piece of our
Right.
lineup.
It'll just
Sure.
be a you call and hey, I
Yeah.
want this. You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Yeah, or
Remember that time you
email
did
us.
5s instead of 4s? Can you do
Right.
that? Yes.
Yep.
Perfect.
Awesome. And then the other one, just kind of more, just whatever. I'm curious to hear your answer. If you had, or I'm sorry, wrong question. If you could throw one of your baits for the rest of your life, which one are you choosing? You gonna stick with
Jig.
this?
It's going to be a jig.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Swast craw
Yeah.
or orange craw, jig,
Man, well,
probably.
this is leading us right into it. Let's talk about the jig.
All
Yeah,
right.
and
Look
our
at that
spinnerbait's
transition.
great, but there's just certain times of the year where the blade bite slows down, and
Yeah, you
you
can't
can't catch
always
them on a
catch them.
jig all the time.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I
That's
mean,
right.
you can't always be. I mean, there's been multiple tournaments since I've owned this company, and that we get up on stage or whatever. Like, did you catch them on a spinnerbait? And I'm like, no, I didn't.
No.
Just because I own a spinnerbait company and they are awesome spinnerbaits, like I'm not always throwing it because I'm a realistic fisherman.
Right.
And I also want to be honest when I'm up there, whether people think you are or not. It's best to be honest because I think you're lying anyways. So, I like to throw. I mean, if I had one bait to throw all the time, 12 months out of the year, every day, it's going to be a jig, and it always has been before we own E-Factor. It's
Yeah,
always been
I
a
feel you.
jig.
I'm pretty well with you. If I had to choose one bait, that's what I would throw.
It works.
So this color right here, um, jig colors. Everybody's got their favorite.
Mm-hmm.
The funny thing is back when I was 16 years old, Steve started E-Factor, and he had a brown, green pumpkin, and black skirt. And I really hadn't seen that much with the black in it, and everybody threw black and blue. So I didn't like to throw black and blue.
Right.
So I wanted something different, and I was like, I'm gonna throw that green pumpkin, brown, and black because it has enough black and it's dark enough I could throw it in muddy water and still get bit. So that's what I did. And then a friend of mine also owned a bait company, and he could get bulk buys on skirts. And I got my jig heads from X company, but I didn't like any of their skirt offerings, so I got my skirts through him, and I'd normally get them by like 200 to 500 at a time,
Mm-hmm.
and I would just put all my jigs together. Well, after about 2 years, I was like, man, can you add 12 strands of blue to that, sapphire blue? So now I've got black, blue, green pumpkin, and brown all in one jig, and I kept it. I mean, not that it's anything majorly special, but like I never told anybody that was my color, and I
Mhm.
threw it 90% of the time. And Jason Lewis always got them for me, and he always called it Swast Crawl. And we bought E-Factor, and I guess it was about a year and a half, and I ran out of my stash that I got from him years ago, and so we built a bunch of them, and I was like, "You think we should release it into our lineup?" And she's like, "Yeah, and call it Swast Crawl." So it's in our lineup now. It's not a secret. A jig color is a jig color, but it's the one that I throw 90% of the time. There's about two other colors that I'll throw personally, but that's Swast Crawl, and man, it gets bit when it's cold, when it's hot, when it's dirty, when it's clear. It's you could take that thing
I'll have to
anywhere.
try that out.
Yeah, and you can put all kinds of different colored trailers on there, depending on the water clarity to make it different contrast in the water or whatever. So it really flows good with just about everything. That's actually the jig I was throwing in that tournament this past weekend with Andy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's the one we practiced with, and at least down in the clearer water.
Right.
In the dirtier water, I was throwing our blue crawl.
Okay. That's a good color
Again,
too.
I
I like
still won't throw just straight black and blue, as you can
Mhm.
see.
that.
I
Yeah,
just
you
won't
gotta
do it. I just
have
won't do it. I got to have some brown or green
Just
pumpkin or
100%.
something in there. I just will not throw a straight black and blue jig.
I'm gonna show them orange craw, my pick.
And then tons of people, including Jessica, loves our orange crawl.
I'm on that wagon. I like the orange crawl a lot.
So it looks like
Yeah.
a green kind of look like green pumpkin and the orange on the front. Is that kind of
Yep,
what that is?
we've
Peanut
got
butter?
some.
Brown from PBJ.
Yeah, so we've
Okay.
got some brown from PB and J in there. We've got an olive green pumpkin.
Hold that
And-
up a little higher. It's kind of covered by the
Oh,
name.
sorry,
There you go.
sorry.
You're
I
good.
would say, just I worked at Fitz down here for a long time. I would say that's probably our number one selling jig color down here at the
Okay.
lake
Yeah,
area.
that
That
looks
and
like a
blue
good
craw.
Ozark color.
Very
Mhm.
good.
That's a good Ozark color right there.
Yeah, I
And
agree.
our jigs, man, and it's not just because I own the company, but they skip so good and they come through cover. And I've thrown a ton of jigs, a ton of them. I've
Mhm.
experimented with a bunch of them. And we fished the other day, 3 days in a row. And I actually texted some of my buddies and I was like, we fished a jig nonstop for 3 days in a row. We fished rock, we fished it all, right?
Mhm.
Shallow and deep. I said, how many jigs do you think I lost? And one of them, said this and that, and I lost one jig in 3 days.
That's excellent.
That's really
I
good.
can't say that's always going to happen, but that's
Right.
never happened throwing other people's jigs.
Is that head?
Yeah, and one thing to point out too is the wire keeper there, the bait keeper there.
Mhm.
I will say, I know a lot of people don't, they think it might make your bait fall apart.
Tear
It
your
might not.
bait.
Yeah, I have not found that to be the case with
Yeah,
ours at
I have
all.
Yeah.
to have a keeper. I can't stand them that don't have
What
something on
what
there.
style
Yeah,
keeper is that? I couldn't quite see. Is it just a little
it's
hook? Is
just
it
a
a
wire hook.
So it's a wire keeper, instead of a lead.
See,
gotcha?
yeah, put your
Yeah.
hand,
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's a reverse
And
hook. I see it.
yeah, instead of
metal keeper.
instead of a lead
Keep.
keeper,
Yeah.
and it's really good for Z-Man baits.
Mhm.
Like
Mhm.
really, really good for Z-Man baits. And then as far as other baits, I don't have a problem with it. Some folks say it tears the plastic. It doesn't for me. Typically, I lose my tails or pinchers before the body of my bait tears
Mhm.
off of it. And
Mhm.
then even though it holds good, I still, and most people, regardless if it's lead or metal keeper, put a dab of super glue on there. You
Mhm.
know, I still recommend doing that, and I do it all the time. It's not a
Yeah,
problem.
just to help hold it really
Yeah,
good.
yeah, especially when you're skipping that hard and way up underneath docks and catwalks and whatnot. Yes.
I never do that, and I never lose my trailers. So just saying.
She can
So,
skip every once in a while.
I'm not
yeah,
that good at skipping, though. That's true.
She
yeah,
does. She does.
It's banging it
She does
into
more
a
of the
lot of
pitch.
things.
yeah, the pitch. Yeah, skipping takes practice for sure. Uh,
Definitely.
so when you are, we'll kind of talk about how you like to fish them too, like especially this time of the year. Uh, you know, with that jig, you're primarily skipping it. Are you swimming it out too? Are you hopping it, letting it soak, or where you feel like you're getting a lot of your bites?
So as of recent, this past weekend, we'd pitch it, skip it to some type of visual cover or under a float or a catwalk or a back corner of a dock, whatever. And then we would hop it once or twice and then swim it back to the boat. Um, everybody thinks like there's a swim jig and there's a
Mhm.
purpose for a swim jig with a straight eye. When
Mhm.
you hear of swim jigs, you know, a hardcore swim jig or swim jig guy, like typically they're swimming that jig through grass and you really need that that
Right.
vertical eye. Man, these jigs they swim extremely good in open water. So like take like the Ozarks for instance, or Table Rock or whatever. Like you don't need a swim jig to swim a
Right.
jig and effectively catch fish and hook them in the mouth where you're supposed to hook them. So to answer your question, we were fishing shallow structure. We'd flip it to that shallow structure. We'd work it a few times and then we would swim it back to the boat. And we were getting bit 50-50.
Hmm.
So we didn't really know, should we just swim or should we just flip and skip? I mean, the answer was there. We did both, and we
Right.
got we got bit both ways in practice and the tournament. So I mean, you can literally skip, pitch, flip, work through structure, and swim this jig from 3/8 all the way to 3/4 ounce. The 3/4 ounce, on our website, they're just called pitch and skipping jigs.
Hmm.
Um, I put a structure sticker on the 3/4 so people realize that 3/4 ounce jig comes through cover and man, you can stroke it and drag it so good. It works. It's an awesome jig.
So
And
that's
it's got a big hook, big stout hook in it that's sharp and not overpowering to where you're gonna not hook them because it's so thick of a hook.
right. So do
So
you not use a football jig then? Like that is your football jig essentially if you're fishing out deep, you prefer that style of head or
I use a football jig. It just kind of depends on what the day kind of has in store on the variations of the cover that I'm fishing. We have a football jig. It's thrown a lot. I like it. It's got a hook in it that's like a hybrid hook.
Mhm.
It's not a giant fat EWG gap. And it's very sharp.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm familiar with that style too. I like that
Yeah.
style of hook actually I really like those on football jigs. I've had
They
some other jigs that have that style of hook, but I don't tend to like them as much. I like the round bend on like a pitching jig, I would call it.
Yep, I agree. I think it gets hooked in their mouth and it really stays about right here, and they just don't get that with that
Yeah.
flat portion of that hook. They just don't get a lot of leverage when this
Mhm.
starts flopping around to pop out like a
Right.
round bin will.
Justin, do you ever make any like weed guard modifications or anything, or do you always fish full weed guard, or do you have any insight on
So
that?
we make sure our weed guards are not too long to start with,
Mm-hmm.
so you shouldn't have to trim them. Um, So one thing that I do, and I've always done, is I spread that weed guard like this when it comes out of the package and fan it
Okay.
out, and it'll be fanned like that.
Sure.
So if
Mm-hmm.
it rolls, it's not going to get stuck on cover, and it also makes it less stiff.
Mm-hmm.
So you just get better hookups that way. I don't
Okay.
trim them, but I just make sure that they're set deep enough in that head that they're not too long to where you have to trim them. If someone wants to trim them, obviously they can.
Sure.
Right.
I don't ever. And I've never really had any issues.
Nice.
Obviously, or I would change it up. But I
Oh,
just fan them out. I've always fanned them out.
I like that tip. I've never heard that tip. Let's see.
Talk about the
Um,
sticky head.
yeah, I was gonna say so you guys were talking that the jig is your jam. The shaky head is my all-time go-to. If I'm picking a bait, that's what I'm gonna fish with for life. What want talk a little bit about your shaky heads?
We have a bunch of them. So we've got them all the way from old school
Mm-hmm.
No screw
Old
lock.
school, yep, no screw lock, round bin, offered in all the sizes that you need,
Mm-hmm.
from 3/0 to 5/0 hook, depending on the size.
Sure.
We've got round balls with
Screw lock. Mm-hmm.
screw lock on there, all the sizes you need,
That's my go-to.
and then we have large EWG style that's got a VMC in it,
For
screw lock.
the mag worms and the other
Yes,
stuff.
I need
yes,
some more of those too.
magworms. If you're an EWG fan, um, good for brush hogs, beavers, other types of creature baits. We've got them in all the sizes you need: green pumpkin and black, or camo and black, if you want to call it camo instead of green pumpkin. And then that same hook style that you like in that football jig,
Mhm.
we have in our Pro
Oh, nice.
Series shaky head. This is a 6/0 Gamakatsu. Yes, that is a 6/0. It does not look like a 6/0. It is a smaller hook. It's extremely sharp. It's in that hybrid bend, but that is what they call their 6/0 in this.
Hmm.
They only offer it in two sizes, and 6/0 is the largest, and that's what we put in ours. Um, I'm a big fan in cold water, cooler water of the crocodigator swamp bug, the paddle tail
Mm-hmm.
specifically, and that thing is perfect for this bait. I mean, it is absolutely perfect.
Hmm.
That looks great.
Um,
It does.
really good for just your old school finesse worms, not not your mag finesse worms or your standard trick worms and finesse worms, your thinner baits.
Mhm.
Um, lighter line, super sharp, but I can still throw it 17 or 20 pound, and I don't have to worry about that hook flexing real bad or bending.
Right.
So that's a really, really good shaky head. And then we also have our new one, which is an A-dot round bend Gamakatsu. And that thing on a mag trick worm, 10-inch worm, mid-sized brush hog, things like that. If you are a round bend fan like I am, this really gets the job done. This is a Zoom trick worm here.
Yep.
Yep.
That's that. And then this is
Perfect
the
size.
bait cave thick stick right here.
Yep.
And it just sits in there perfect. Depending on your hook set sweep, it's either going to stick them right in the cheek, which is super hard to get out even once you got them in the boat. You normally got to get the pliers if you got them in the cheek. And then if you're doing a straight up hook set, even with that straight eye, it smacks them right between the nostrils most of the time.
Excellent.
That's
And
awesome.
we wanted to make sure it would do that before we released it. So we did some testing with that. A couple of guys at the Ozarks wanted a round bend. I wanted a certain round bend, and we made it happen. So Gamakatsu hooks and everything that we can put a Gamakatsu hook in, we're going to. But you have to understand, not Gamakatsu doesn't make a hook for every situation that we have, or I would have Gamakatsu hooks and everything.
Yeah.
The Mustad hook is in our spinnerbait because Mustad has that game perfect. The spinnerbait hook Mustad offers is better than a Gamakatsu spinnerbait hook. Just is what it is. So we're going to put the best hook that we can in every bait that we produce, regardless of cost. A lot of people don't do it because of cost. Getting down to like the business side of things, you will pay 12 to 18 cents more for a Gamakatsu in the same exact size and shape as a competitor's hook. But I'm willing to do that because I want to put out the best quality product as I can. And I'm a hook geek. I worked for Gamakatsu for years and powwowed with Aaron Martins at the booth and sitting there talking about all the bends and all this crazy things they do to a perfectly good hook already and make it better. So I'm a hook geek. I'm a rod action geek. So a lot of that goes into that. There's a whole lot of innovation going on right now with forward facing sonar heads and things like that. I'm not saying we're not going to get into it, but I think if we do and when we do, we've got this right here. This is a saber tail cut down on that same jig head that I showed you. There's a round ball jig head with a really good hooking. I can forward face sonar with that perfectly, but anytime that we come out with something, there's going to be a lot of thought put into it. We're not just going to jam stuff out just to have it and call it a me too. That's just the way we're going to run things.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yep. That's what it's all about. Quality. Yep. 100%.
Important.
Yeah. And we're the size we can do that,
Right. Sometimes it's hard, other companies are bigger or whatever. And they just are jamming product out there to get revenue. Versus, you're taking the time, like you said, it's somebody even wants to order something custom, you're going to go test it before you mail them something to make sure at least it's running right. You're not going to mail somebody something like, hey, this is what you wanted, but
yeah, we get way more text messages about, man, I caught him on your spinnerbait, or man, I caught him on that shaky head you told me to throw, or that jig, or that it stuck him real good. Like, we're getting those text messages and phone calls. We're not getting, hey, this messed up, or I'm losing fish, and like, we're not getting those phone calls.
Right.
That's good.
So
awesome. So you guys obviously kind of this just came to me. You guys obviously do a lot of spinner baits. Have you ever considered, or do you make any Alabama rigs, or have you even dabbled in that?
Good question.
You'll get some business from me. I mean, you're gonna get business from me regardless. But Alabama rig is my jam. Austin makes fun of me all the time. I'll beat that dead horse till the horse is decayed.
Yeah, so
we're in a dry lake. Won't even be water, and he'll be throwing.
We've thought about it. we've thought about the Alabama rig.
I'll be your test
We
subject.
we haven't messed with it yet too much, but I've thought about it. Maybe we will. Just kind of depends.
Gotcha.
Now that she's full time, we can probably handle bringing on some more stuff and quicker.
Jessica, I'm gonna need 6 of them by December 6th. So,
All right. Well, send it over in an email, or else I'll forget. You
Okay.
gotta send
I
it
got.
electronically.
Hey, we got Justin's email now, so we're good.
Speaking
Yeah,
of that,
he disappeared, so I guess you're stuck with me
we're
now.
stuck with you. But that's totally fine. What's some good, like, what's your preferred way for somebody to contact you guys? Is it, can you
Yeah.
call or should you email or text or?
Emails are always great just because, they're right there, and, I like to be able to have that record. But it doesn't matter if people want to call, if that's more convenient for them. I mean, it's whatever's convenient for them. We do get, a lot of older people that call like, well, I can't use the website. And so that's fine. They can call. I
Yeah.
can, put it in the system and check them out right here. We've got a point of sale system here in the shop. So
Perfect.
whatever works for them.
Good question. Good question.
All right, Justin's tagging back in.
Yeah, I had to plug the computer in.
Oh, it's all good.
It went into energy save mode, and I was like, "Oh, that's not good."
It
Mad
wouldn't be
dash
our
for the
first
charger.
technical difficulties.
Yeah, it wouldn't be our first. We were just like, well, where'd he go?
So some just generic ones for you, Justin. How many tournaments do you get to fish in a usual year for you?
Now, man, probably only like 6,
Not
8,
enough.
8 at most, and that might sound like a lot, but I live at Lake of the Ozarks, so
Sure, yeah, you're on the lake.
yeah, and that's now that Andy kicked me in the butt to get going. He's like, dude, you need to quit, not going. We need to go. So
Yeah.
when he's back in town from touring,
Yeah.
we jump on the boat and go.
Good.
Tournament wise, like I said, 6 to 8. Man, I used to fish 1 to 2, maybe 3 tournaments a week.
Yeah.
For years.
Yeah.
When I first moved down here, and then before I moved down here, 16 years old until 23 or whatever, I was fishing either the BFLs or the Costas or the Strands or the Everstarts, whatever they were called back then, even back when they were 4-day events. Fish those forever, and then I would jump into other tournaments and tournament series, whether it be Heartland Pro-Am or Ozark Mountain Team Trail, Anglers in Action, all of those. I used to fish a lot of tournaments. I was down here every weekend almost, or Table Rock or Kentucky Lake.
Wow.
Yeah, I was. I really was.
No.
And I loved it.
I believe I'm correct in saying this. You won the Big Bass Bash one year, didn't you?
I did in 2015. Yes.
2015.
Awesome.
On an E-Factor spinnerbait. Just
Hey. Could have fooled us.
I won it in spring of 2015. And then the very next year, she jumped in the boat, and we went to the same spot, same cast, same bait, same everything, and I caught a 653, and it was spawned out, and I led the tournament for like 2 hours. I knew it wouldn't hold.
Right.
Yeah.
But it was literally off the same everything. It was crazy.
That's
a good spot.
But I won it. 2015, spring of 2015. The Terrell family, man, they're an awesome family.
Yeah. Was that when the payout was 100, or was it less than that?
It was, I believe it was 60,000, and then Ranger at the time was kicking in $5,000. So I got that incentive, and there was another incentive or two. I think K&N even threw in like $1,000 deal for your truck.
Wow.
Back then. So they've always had something going, Anglers in Action. So,
yeah, they're great.
But I believe it was the 60,000, and then you won the first place of that hour. So it was like 1,500, so 61,500. Then Ranger kicked in $5,000, and there was another kick in. So it was a good payday.
Heck yeah.
Excellent. I'll take that.
100%.
Fishing.
Justin, what's your favorite part of the lake to fish? Is it or the Shawnee Bend area because you're close to there, or do you got other places.
Yeah, I would say that would be accurate. However, I haven't put my boat in or fished that area of the lake since like September of last year. I've been fishing from pretty much Tantera all the way up to the 90-mile marker.
Wow.
Obviously because of that river series, but I've been fishing the Tantera to Hurricane Deck to Bollinger area quite often. I don't know. You know, one area that I don't fish near as much as I used to. I used to live in the Gravelway.
Oh,
Like
really?
when I was younger,
Mm-hmm.
man, I lived in the Gravelway. When I drove down here and just fished for the day or whatever, a lot of times I'd put in at Kaufman and fish. You know, either fish the Gravelway, start in there, or finish in there, and run down to the dam. So, man, I'm not a really designated area of the lake kind of guy.
Gotcha.
I think if you're hunting for one big fish or the biggest bag is typically seems like it's always going to come from below the toll bridge. Um, just being around and
Mm-hmm.
all the tournaments and watching all the guys, you know, bring in real big bags. Most of them consistently come from down. Yeah, you'll get a big bag come from the Niangua here or there. It just kind of depends, but consistently 12 months out of the year, I think below the toll bridge historically. Um, sunny, go up, cloudy, go down, kind of the rule of thumb in my mind. Is how I've always fished this lake. If it's sunny, I go up to the colored water, up lake, and if it's cloudy, I go down. And then certain winds, I'll go down versus going up and
Interesting.
meeting up. You know, making a left out of the glaze or the right out of the glaze.
Yeah, that's always the question.
Yeah.
Fish out of TV too. It's like, do you go left or do you go right? It kind of dictates
Right.
your day.
For me in Austin, it's usually like, well, if we don't do good left, we'll go right, and we probably won't do good, and we'll just be like crap.
Well, I mean, it's been tough. I mean, it's the lake has changed. What sucks is like I got out of fishing there for a while, and during that time I got out, like the lake changed. You know, just talking to the other locals around and stuff that were consistently fishing, the lake has changed quite a bit over the past 6, 7 years.
Yeah.
So I have a real bad habit of just thinking about past times and back in the day and
Just
stuff
in the
like that.
history and
Yep.
all the memories and
Me and Austin are right there with you. It's horrible.
Yes.
yeah. I've been trying to
there's
break myself of that lately.
and it's still pattern stuff, but you're
Yeah.
like, man, when the wind was doing this and the watercolor was this, they'd be doing this, and like they're not doing it anymore.
Yeah.
Well,
It's just crazy.
What
Just to say, what do you think what do you personally think has caused that change? Do you have any speculation?
Well,
any input?
When COVID was going on,
Mm-hmm.
I live 8/10 of a mile from the boat ramp. Now I wasn't fishing a lot during then. I was absolutely bonkers with real estate.
Mm-hmm.
But like phone calls and things, I'd stay on the phone and drive down there instead of pulling into my driveway and finish the conversation at Shawnee Bend. That parking lot was full to the max all through COVID, all of 2020, all of 2021, every single day of the week. I mean, it was absolutely insane.
There definitely
So
something to that.
I think fishing pressure, for one, changed it big time. Looking at them with your sonar changed it. You can't say that it hasn't. I think it's turned some fish. I think it's turned some fish into nomads. People are like, "Oh, they're just out here roaming," and they were always just out there roaming. I don't think so. I think they're trying to get as far away from all that stuff as possible.
Yeah.
I mean, forward-facing sonar has definitely taught us about fish habits that we didn't really know what they were doing because we couldn't watch them live like we can now. But I think fishing pressures changed it quite a bit. 2015 through 18, there was tons and tons of current during the summertime. And then it seemed like 19, 20, there wasn't a whole lot of current, and 21. So that's changed a lot of things too. And then days you have current, you kind of go back to those 15, 16, 17 year mindsets of like, oh, they're going to be pulled up on the points and this, and they're not like they were. I mean, you can still catch them a little bit, but not like back then.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. I mean, I pretty well agree with all that, really.
Yeah.
That's been my experience. And I don't know, like you said, if you kind of fish all around or if you fish a little bit further up as much, but like the lower end, especially the last like 2 years,
For sure.
this year seems a lot better so far. But like the last 2 years prior to that, it's just seemed kind of off.
Yeah, I can agree with that too, especially in the fall,
Yeah.
because my favorite thing was to go fish those shallow boat docks
Mhm.
low below the toll bridge in the fall. And, the few tournaments that I did consistently still fish, even when
Mhm.
I wasn't fishing, um, I would want to go down there and do that. And it just wasn't happening. And
Right.
it was pretty depressing, really,
Yeah.
you know, and I didn't know what to do. I
Yeah.
didn't know. So I just had to change area of the lake and it would work a little bit here and there. And then you'd have to just go run into them and try
Yep.
different things.
Mm-hmm. Definitely
Absolutely.
been a lot of those times, especially over the last 2 years. It seems like it's like what the
Yeah.
heck? Nothing's working. You like you said, you got to change. You got to change it up and move.
Yeah. I think this year's the year. It seems to be better for me, at least overall, for everything. So I don't know. I don't know what it was, but
Really? You're gonna jinx it. It's
Well,
July, and you're gonna jinx it.
I'm
Everybody,
saying
mark this video right now. I'm coming back December 6th when we have 0 keepers in our bag. It's his fault.
I've got
oh,
confidence. I've got confidence. You'll see us at the weigh-in with at least one.
there's been a lot of big bags, some bigger fish, like the Anglers in Action had, the largest fish weighed in history for their weigh-in periods and the overall winter in the springtime. Maybe that had a little bit to do with the timing.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was a little earlier than normal. So, and then you've got big bags that have been coming in. The night tournaments have been consistently
Yeah.
bringing in. I mean, there was Greg Webster caught like a 7.3 or a 7.6 last night.
Holy
Dang.
cow! Yeah,
You know what
that's
I
a good
mean?
one.
So, yeah, and I'm pretty sure he caught that somewhere out of the Niangua. At least that's where they took out of or whatever.
Yeah,
But and it was an evening tournament, so they didn't run too awful far.
Yeah.
So there's the lakes they all go in ups and downs.
yep. I agree
Table
with that
Rock
too.
it's coming back around. Kentucky Lake did, but there's multiple reasons for that.
Hmm.
Lake of the Ozarks will, but man, we're super blessed here at this lake. When we do have a change, it's not for too long and it's not terrible.
Yeah.
Right.
You can still win or consistently catch 15 to 18 pound bags, where other bodies of water, when they go through a bad time, you're talking like 12, 13 pounds to win and stuff.
Yeah.
And everybody complains about the boat traffic, and it's easy to complain about because it does suck, but I think that helps this fishery out.
Mm-hmm.
All the boat docks help this fishery out
Oh, for
because
sure.
we can't be out there pounding them all the time
Sure.
because of the boat traffic.
Mm-hmm.
And then the docks, they just give so much cover to fish, and
Absolutely.
they don't get gotten to, like especially like a long commercial boat dock sitting over the perfect column of water. I mean,
Yep.
they got their spawning flat, close to their catwalk. They're still getting sunlight. They move out. They've got a drop. They've got current under there. There's fish that never even leave community boat docks,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
Yeah. I agree with that. I mean, Ozarks is. I haven't fished as many places as you probably, but from the places I have fished, like it's its own. It's its own lake. It's like
It,
rules. There's rules at Ozarks that
Yeah.
like things work here and don't work anywhere else, and vice versa.
yeah, I mean,
It's like
you don't
own
have to go
thing.
out there and shake a minnow to catch a 24-pound bag.
Yeah,
You do not have to do that here still to this day, which
yeah.
is freaking awesome.
Yeah.
I've never
Thank
had
God
any
I
luck
live
with
here.
minnow. I've tried it here a few times. And I just give up because I just go throw something else that I know I can catch fish on.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Literally anything else. Justin, well, I see we're coming up just over an hour. I want to be respectful of your time. We know you got other arrangements, but I have a couple last questions. One we've been asking everybody we've been talking to. Since you just fished Lake the Ozarks, maybe you'll have a good answer for this. If you had to give Lake the Ozarks a letter grade for its overall health, what are you giving it and why?
As far
A is super healthy.
A is super healthy, like fishing, like it's on track. It's doing great.
like this year or just overall?
We can do both. Let's do this year, and then we'll do overall.
I think overall it's at a B. I think it's at an A though. every fish we catch has been healthy. They're
Mhm.
lively in the live well, whether you doctor them up or not. They're coming out of the bags. They're in the bags, flopping around healthy. Very few
Mhm.
fish kills that you see at the weigh-in tournaments. Um, I mean, you're catching tons and tons of 2.5 pounders, 2 pounders, 185s, those
Sure.
14 and 3/4, 15
Yeah.
inchers. Um, there's a lot of big fish being caught.
Mhm.
Some of the biggest we've seen in a while. So I'd say in its current state, it's at an A. In its overall state, I think it's at a B. And I would say in the past 7, 8 years.
Good. Awesome. That's a solid answer. One other question I had for you, and a selfish question is, do you have any plans on fishing our winter series this year?
Yeah, yeah, no, we really do. We wanted to fish. We wanted to fish them this past winter, and it just didn't line up very well at all.
Sure. Yeah, we
And
get
then
it.
and then the weather kind of got us on a few.
Yeah, it did a little bit.
The weather can be tricky.
But that's no deterrent from having a winter series. Like I'm so glad you all are having them because I remember there was another circuit that used to have them, and that two circuits that had them, and like that was awesome.
Hmm.
And then they got away from them, and hey man, I get it. We're pulling really expensive rigs, and weather can get dicey, but you have the ability to not go.
Yeah.
Like
Right.
we're still having this tournament. We're not making you come to this tournament.
Yeah.
Right.
If eight boats only show up, well, then 8 of us are fishing for top prize, right? And we're
Hmm.
gonna fish in 6 inches of snow or whatever. So kudos to you for having it. The winter at Lake of the Ozarks is the best time to fish. I mean,
Hands down.
you
It's a
can
blast.
catch absolute giants. You can catch them multiple ways. It doesn't just have to be an A rig.
Hmm.
Doesn't just have to be a jerk bait.
Yep.
Obviously, there's dominance that
Hmm.
time of those type of times a year for certain baits, and then you can fish all over the lake. You can run as fast as you want, wherever you want. You don't have to worry about hitting a 60-foot cruiser wake,
Hmm.
that a rogue wave out of
Yeah.
nowhere.
Yep.
It's just awesome, man. So I'm glad you all brought it back. And yeah, we definitely plan on being there. If not
Awesome.
all of them, as many as we can.
Cool.
That's
We definitely got to crown. This is gonna ruffle some feathers. We got to crown a new champion besides old Cole McFarland and Ryan Jordan. If they're
They're
listening,
hammers, aren't they?
they are just
good.
tearing it up, and they're good
It's
fishermen.
good.
So,
So they throw the heck out of my new shaky head. Cole and I talked a lot about this one.
Yeah.
Um, it has a lot to do with his wants as much as mine. So him and I talked about it quite a bit more than probably anybody.
yeah.
Really.
They throw our spinner baits a whole lot. They throw our buzz bait a little bit. They throw our jigs. They throw our shaky heads. So yeah, they're hammers, especially down low on the
They
lake
are.
that
They
time of
are.
year.
Yep. Yep.
They're tough to beat.
They're going for their third title. So
But
I know there's a lot of guys
there's,
wanting. I know.
there's going to be
I
some
think.
smack talking. I already
I'm
know
pretty
it.
sure the Boley brothers are ready to try to put them down. So we'll see.
And those are two studs right there too.
Yeah, there's a lot of good fishermen at Lake the Ozarks. Austin
Yeah.
and I are just happy to run the series, and we could
Yep.
just be
We'll
around
take it.
everybody.
Well, and they're all good people, man. Like
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
Absolutely.
the anglers at this lake. That's another thing we're blessed with, man. Is just like
Mhm.
I've never been anywhere or seen just it's no major clique. Like everybody's just
Sure.
buddies.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so and so wins, man. We run over there and tell them, hey, don't let me catch you on that spot again, and we all laugh about it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So
I mean,
it just blessed to have those type of fishermen fishing this awesome fishery
Yes.
together.
It's
absolutely.
very fun.
For me personally, my favorite part of the whole series is just getting to know these people, building relationships. I mean, there was a couple of tournaments. Another shout out to Scott and Luke Ahart. We sent them out. I don't even remember what it was. They were fishing for one of the places. And we're like, "Well, how'd you do?" And he's like, "Too much pressure." And we're like, "Oh
Yeah.
God, too much pressure."
Yeah, we gave him trouble on the way out. We're like, no pressure. Like, you only got to catch like 3 or something like that,
Yeah.
And then he came back. He was like, it was too much pressure.
And I
Yeah.
love it, and just having the relationships and meeting new people all the time. So it's been a pleasure to run, and we really
Yeah.
enjoy it. But
That's one of the reasons why, like, I toured all the time. And I'm not just gonna say like I was trying to make a go at going pro, but I did it enough to where, I mean, that was some of the reason why I kind of quit and just zoned in on Lake of the Ozarks,
Mm-hmm.
work for a living, fish for fun, make some side money fishing,
Yep.
enjoy it. Yeah, try and fish some series and, win a points race or whatever, but like the pressure that can get put on you is on a competitive level of fishing for a living. That is
Tough.
that's a lot that's a lot different, and
Sure.
it can take the enjoyment out of it for a lot of people.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
I could see that for sure.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt.
Yeah.
Well, at this time, Austin, I think I'm good. Do you have any other last questions for Justin and Jessica?
Well, the biggest thing is we need to say thank you to E Factor, and we need to talk about Justin's real estate real quick because they're the two
Yes,
primary sponsors of
they were.
last
They were
year's
our
winter
big
series.
sponsors.
So to all our anglers and everybody who fished the series, they put up the most money
Yes,
to
so
support
support
our
the
series.
series. And yeah, thank you guys so much for just going out on a limb and sponsoring us because we know, when somebody comes asking for money, it seems like everybody's asking for money, but we really do try to throw it all back to the anglers, and that's what it's about. It's not about me and Austin trying to make an extra buck. We do this because we love it, and we want to just
Yeah,
have it kind of like you want quality baits and product. We want a quality series, and we want good feedback. And so far, we've been hearing good things. So,
Yeah, I
thank,
could tell
thank you
from the
both.
first one we fished that it was going to be good. I was like, yeah, this is going to be a good deal here. And another reason why we do it is just we want to support the fishing community. All the anglers that are
Mhm.
fishing it, I can call most of those guys on the phone and that they'll help me in a drop of a hat.
right.
I mean,
That's
they're
awesome.
the community around here, whether they live here at the lake or just fish here at the lake, we all know each other on a level that we just want to give back and support them. And, in return, obviously they're going to support us, support you all.
Yeah,
And it's just how it works down here. It's an awesome dynamic.
Yeah, absolutely.
absolutely. But
Couldn't agree more. Let's I do want to touch about your real estate real quick so
yeah,
people can tell us a little bit about that. That's your primary thing, that
bread and
you
butter.
work on while
Yes,
Jessica's building
that is my
bait,
bread and butter.
keeping E
It's my
Factor going.
passion. It is my career. It's what I do 7 days a week, pretty much most of the time. Jessica, like I said, she runs E Factor. Um, I have a business partner, Waylon Martin, and we went to Trophy Properties and Auction and started our own team, and we cover Missouri. He's down in Pleasant Hope, Missouri. I'm here at Lake of the Ozarks. We have a couple other agents on our team scattered out through the state, so we can list and assist in the buying process in the entire state of Missouri. So if you're looking to buy land or sell land, we've got you covered through the entire state. We don't have a jurisdiction or a territory or anything like that. If there's surrounding states like Kansas, Iowa, or Illinois, we can get you in touch with some other folks through Trophy Properties and Auction that get you taken care of. We have a new tool that Waylon and I didn't have before is the auction service.
Hmm.
So we can now auction properties when before it was just a traditional list.
Hmm.
Hmm.
So we've got that tool now for our sellers and our buyers. Um, I've been doing this full time going on 6 years. Um, it's 100% full time job for me. I left the rep industry and the outdoor industry, burnt the ships, got a side by side, got a trailer, got all the tools, and just started hammering it out. And been successful thanks to all the support and everybody behind me, and then just wanting to do it right, 1 acre at a time. Um, there's a lot of bad real estate agents out there. I'll just flat out say it. And it just is what it is.
Yeah,
There's plenty of bad drivers out there, right? But they still
sure.
got their license.
Right.
Oh yeah,
Um, so they're not all created equal. And I can guarantee, if you're needing to sell or buy, and you have us help you, you'll be definitely glad that you did. Yeah.
definitely. Justin, I know I could talk to you for another hour and 15 minutes easily because that I could definitely get it. I would be right there with you. That would be like my dream job to just break off and do something like that because I love
turkey
it.
hunting, deer hunting kind of goes with it.
Yeah, land
Just
management.
living on the land management, cattle, agriculture.
That's right up
Um,
my alley.
and I primarily deal with land, but a lot of times, if it's over 30 acres, most likely if anybody's had it long enough, they probably live on it too.
Yeah.
So I mean, we deal with a lot of residential. Most big farms or ranches, they have, nice homes or some type of compound on it.
Right.
So we do it all, but I am definitely a land agent. Um, Sell recreational properties, for hunting or just flat out recreation, cattle ranches, grass farms, a little bit of tillable. I don't deal with a whole lot of tillable due to like my area, but I have sold some up north and helped some get bought up north. Like I said, I can go anywhere in the state of Missouri, so um, we're a we're a team that we can pretty much conquer anything that's put in front of us. I've
If
sold Jacob's Cave. I'm in a show cave,
hmm
businesses, all kinds of things.
Gotcha. That's awesome.
Nice.
Yeah. Well, thank you again for your generous sponsorships to our tournament series and
Yeah.
just cooperating and everything in general. You guys have it's been great working with both of you.
What's the best way for
Thank you.
somebody to reach you, Justin,
Yes.
if they want to talk real estate?
Shoot me a text message, 314-805-0202, or hit me up on Facebook, either just Justin Swast or go to my Trophy Properties and Auction Justin Swast land agent page.
Yep.
Shoot me a message there. The only thing about Messenger, though, sometimes you don't get them if you're not friends with them, and you got to go to those message requests. So just
Okay.
text me. Just text me or call me, 314-805-0202.
Perfect.
We'll get anybody taken care of.
Absolutely perfect.
Excellent.
Yes. Good. Thanks, Austin. I almost forgot that part.
Yeah.
But yeah, well, it's about an hour 16, so I think we're going to let you guys off the hook. Again, we just want to thank you so much, both of you, Justin and Jessica, for hopping on here and sharing some insight and talking for the last a little over an hour.
Well, thank you.
Thank
Do
you.
have anything else for Jessica?
Yeah.
Keep working.
Keep making those baits.
Yep, and
I'm busting them out. Yeah.
I'll be checking back in with Justin about November to see how my A-rigs are coming.
Sure. Yeah. And anybody fishing the bash, I think we'll probably have a booth set up maybe at the bash this year.
Nice.
Okay.
So, and of course Fitz and Bryant's, they carry our baits down here too.
Nice.
But we can get us at the bash this year too. So
Edgar's Outdoors, Ozark Tackle, Sport World has our stuff down here. Just about every tackle shop down here has them.
And find E-Factor.
Yep.
There's a few shops near St. Louis that have them. Columbia and
done Sporting Goods and Peagley and
couple down in the Table Rock area. So
awesome.
And
you can always find us on.
and if there's a tackle shop near any of the listeners or viewers that are on here, if there's a tackle shop that doesn't have them contact us, and we'll do our best to get them in there. Go to bat for us, or give us some contact information. Say, hey, you need to have your stuff in here so I can run down the road and get it. We're even in Jace Outdoors down in Southeast Missouri and Pilot Knob.
Okay.
He carries our stuff, and there's not a whole lot of tackle stores down there.
Right.
He has a good line of our stuff, and there's Clearwater and a Wapapello down there, and a couple rivers, and a lot of old tiff ponds and mines down there. So he's got an awesome little shop in Pilot Knob. He's starting to grow pretty good.
Perfect.
Gotcha. Yeah. Well, we'll have to mention when we talk to Dennis Austin, we'll have to be like, hey, you ever heard of E-Factor? Because that would be a perfect one for them.
Yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely. Yeah.
I guarantee they would take it. So, but we'll have to talk with them, and we'll be in touch with you on that. So, but okay. Well, without any further ado, I guess we're gonna wrap this thing up, put a bow on it.
Absolutely.
Thank you guys.
Appreciate
it.
Yes. Thank you
no
guys.
problem. Thank you guys for coming on.
Yep. Thanks.
We'll see you.
Bye.